Hello everybody and welcome back. It's Michael from Hollowed Thrills, back with another haunt preview. And this weekend we have two haunts that we are checking out, one being Reaper's Revenge, which we previewed last year, and the other being Brighton Asylum. Today we'll be previewing Brighton Asylum and talking about what they have to offer this year as well as what you can expect when you go there. But before we get into that, please make sure you're subscribed and have the bell notifications turned on to get notified whenever I post a video. And also make sure you're following me on both Instagram and Twitter to keep up to date on anything else I post. Now let's talk about Brighton Asylum for 2022. This year, Brighton has three main attractions to offer to guests. They are the original Brighton Asylum attraction, the Bleeding Grounds attraction, and new for this year, they have Subculture. Let's just start with talking about the original Brighton Asylum attraction that started it all. Brighton's industrial complex, a series of old, decrepit warehouses, was used for housing mentally unstable and psychological patients back in the mid-1940s. Many of these patients were quite violent and often needed to be isolated for staff and patient protection. The most violent patients were housed in the main central building, most commonly referred to as Brighton Asylum. Minimal risk patients were housed in the building B, located adjacent to Brighton Asylum and not accessible to the public. A beneath ground service tunnel spans the full length of the complex, which allows staff to travel from outside to any building within the complex without having to pass through the high risk and centrally located Brighton Asylum unless needed. After 59 years of sitting unexposed, decaying, and cut off from the public, Brighton Asylum reopened in 2011 as a haunted attraction. Its creaky doors were open once again, and ever since, thousands of people have been exploring its hallways and rooms where hundreds of patients lost their minds. The many unthinkable events that took place between the mid-1940s and 1952 are still waiting to be fully uncovered. New Jersey's legendary Brighton Asylum has been rated as the #1 haunted attraction in New Jersey by more news outlets than any other haunted house in New Jersey. It's been featured on things such as The Today Show, Cake Boss, Huffington Post, Fox News, and many, many more, as well as being awarded the #1 haunted house in New Jersey by numerous industry reviewers. Brighton Asylum is the top Halloween destination in the tri-state area. The next attraction, Bleeding Grounds, is an extension of the original Brighton Asylum attraction. Above Brighton Asylum is the second floor where the staff quarters are located, where most of the resident staff lived while on duty. The quarters were home to many nurses, doctors, orderlies, administrators, in-house lab technicians, and more. There were rumors of bizarre gathering parties, even experiments taking place in these Victorian-style quarters, sitting quietly above the more heavily populated Brighton Asylum. In fact, such horrific acts were reported to have taken place there. The quarters were eventually dubbed the Bleeding Grounds. Years of extremely harsh living conditions, grotesque medical experiments, staff disappearances, and screams spilling into the residential areas during the night resulted in the state permanently closing the facility in 1952, pending a full investigation. No such results of an investigation have been found to date. Journey into the staff quarters of Brighton Asylum, located on the abandoned second floor of Brighton Asylum, closed in 1952 and reopened in 2018 to the public, and find out why these elaborate quarters where staff once worked were ultimately dubbed the Bleeding Grounds. Our last attraction and new to this season is Subculture. They were among Brighton Asylum's most feared and dangerous. Escaping to the tunnels during a routine patient transfer, they adapted to the dark, preying on anyone who traveled through. They'll try to trick you, they'll try to recruit you, and if all else fails, they'll simply take you. Will you escape, or will one of these inhabitants overwhelm your mind and spirit? All three of these attractions sound amazing. Personally, other than the original attraction, I'm super excited to see what they did for their newest attraction and see what advancements in haunt technology they have added to truly make it one of a kind. So other than the haunted attractions, they also have 3 add-on attractions. The first being a 5-minute escape game called Fear Pressure, which pins your group against 3 brand new challenges that you must complete in 5 minutes in order to escape. They also offer axe throwing at the Hack Shack, an immersive carnival-style blacklight axe throwing range, and lastly, they have the Twitching Hour paranormal experience, Are you brave enough to explore the most spiritually active parts of Brighton Asylum with nothing but flashlights, the latest ghost hunting equipment, and your nerve? This bone-chilling event takes place after the haunt closes for the evening and lasts 2 to 3 hours with an experienced Brighton Asylum paranormal guide. I think we will be checking out the axe throwing and the escape game during our trip, but I'm definitely interested in that haunt experience, like the paranormal experience, because that does sound super interesting. They also have a horror museum that is available on site that you can pay an extra $5, and you can tour the extensive museum of original props and costumes for your favorite horror films and sci-fi movies up close and personal. New props and costumes were added for this year, so you can see props and costumes from movies like Saw, Terminator, Scream, John Wick, Divergent, Underworld, War of the Worlds, Halloween, and many, many more. Brighton is open Fridays through Sundays through October with varying times per night, but most nights like Friday and Saturday are open from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. They also have 2 special Thursdays that they are open during the season called Slasher Thursdays, where a handful of characters in the attractions have been replaced with characters from your favorite slasher films like Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, and Jason. Their last special night that they offer is on November 5th, and that is their blackout night, where all of their lights are off in every attraction, leading to a truly terrifying experience. Brighton Asylum offers 4 different ticket options, from normal general admission, which gets you into the 3 attractions, to options like the Scared Stiff package, which includes general admission and also access to all the add-ons like axe throwing, escape games, and the horror museum. The last 2 options are just like the first 2, but they include a fast pass option, which allows you to skip the main line. General admission is $42.99 and $62.99 with the fast pass, and then the Scared Stiff package is $52.99 and $72.99 with the added fast pass. So not a bad deal all around for one of the best haunted attractions in the area. Overall, I'm super excited to check out Brighton this weekend, as we did get invited out to cover their event this weekend. So huge shout out to them for inviting us out to check out their event. But this is one of those haunts that I have been waiting a few years to finally check out, and now we finally have that opportunity to do so. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you drop a like and comment if you have been to Brighton Asylum. How was your experience? But as always, I'm Michael, giving you the all clear, and all clear means that you are out of here. See you next time.